Cord. Everybody's here. You're ready to go. Our husbands are here, everybody.
We did it!
We did it! Scotty left work early today.
Good job, Scotty.
Casey walked in the door 8 minutes ago.
Nice.
Oh, nice,
So did
Casey.
Scott. Yeah. I mean, we're going to give him big props, but he also forgot he was supposed to be booking time off for today.
Yeah.
So then,
He's here, that's what matters.
he did it. He's here. All right. So what we're going to do tonight, you guys, we are recording this. So if you weren't able to get your spouse on and you want to watch it later, the YouTube video will be on. I see lots of spouses on right now. So hi, everybody. Hi, all. And I see a lot, I feel like romper room every time we do a Zoom. I see lots of your funny faces and fun people, like with everybody's here. So make sure if you're not presenting that you're muted. That's cute. I like that. In the background, and we're going to just basically just get our husbands to share just a little bit about their Mary Kay experience and maybe some advice that they have for Mary Kay consultants. We have some husbands that are more verbose than others, and some with very small children who will have to take over daddy duties. So we will leave the floor that way. And I know, Nadia, you were going to get Chris to go first, right?
Yeah.
So do you want to maybe start with just a little introduction or a little fun story about him, and then
Okay. So Chris and I actually dated when we were both 25 years old. That was 15 years ago. We had a whirlwind year romance, fell in love, and then I moved to Ottawa and he moved to Calgary. We just made decisions to move ahead, got back together. Years later, my family calls him the boomerang because he came back. And honestly, we've always really had a great mutual respect for each other. In general, we've been friends for years, and basically we just kind of fell in love with the minute we saw each other all over again. And it's been 2 kids and a 4-year romance ever since. And it's just been a ton of fun. But Chris is the most loyal, sincere, thoughtful human I've ever met. And he's one of my biggest cheerleaders. Silently, he's not the rah-rah, throw some pom-poms type of guy, but he is certainly my biggest cheerleader, my biggest supporter. And Chris wouldn't do anything if it wasn't for his family and his love for us. So that's Chris's biggest thing and he wears his heart all here. It's all over his sleeves. So I'm going to ask him some questions, because I would say that Chris just allows me to be in front of the camera for a reason not fun for him. So to make this easier on both of us, I'm just going to ask him a couple of questions, and we're going to go from there. So first and foremost, you got to remember, Chris came into the business 4 years ago, although I've been in it for 10. So he's seen it at a different pace in a different place. And then all of a sudden we've had kids. So we dated for 9 months and then had a child. So it's been, that's how he's seen the business, is without children and with children. So I asked him today what was one piece of advice that he would give to either a brand new consultant, or I started naming consultants in my unit. If you had a hot minute to give a consultant some advice, what would you give them? What would you say?
Do something for your business every day. Nadia, no matter how crazy her 2 little kids get, she seems to always sneak away for whether it's 30 minutes or an hour every day to try to get some work in.
Yeah, I kind of go hide.
Yes.
Yeah. I hide, and he allows me to do that. He just is like, all right, it's Nadia time, go. And he just steps up and steps in. I also asked him kind of one piece of advice, same thing. If there was consultants in my unit and their partners were just getting to know and learn the business, what would be one piece of advice that you would give a consultant's spouse? Like, what would you say to tell them about what it is we do?
Usually, she always, her working is about her family. It's more than just her. It's about all of us. That's what she works for, to try to change our lives and make everything better. With the pandemic going on, I stopped working and got to help her more, and it didn't left us with no financial stress, I guess I could say.
Yeah, so he lost his job right at the beginning of this. We had a baby April 21st. He lost his job April 15th. We had a baby a week later, and yeah, I love that. So basically your advice is to a spouse is to what? Let her work?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, because why? Why is it important for the consultant to be able to go do her work?
To be able to succeed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's made a difference for us.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then maybe what was the last piece? What was it? We wrote it down.
We were thinking about like one Mary Kay story or one funny adventure or something memorable about being in this company.
Yeah. So what's one little fun adventure that you can tell?
Definitely the trips. Hands down. First trip, I got to meet her in Toronto. We went to Argentina. That was our first trip together. It was amazing. And then the following year, we did Hawaii for my 40th. And it was awesome being there with her. She made me feel very loved and being there with everybody else. It was awesome.
My one funny story is that in Argentina, I really knew no one. I knew some of the Canadian directors. I didn't know a lot of people. And we get on the bus the second day, and he's not, like, he's shy. He's shy by nature. We get on the bus the second day. I get on the bus first. Carol says hello to me. That's it. He hops on the bus. All the men are like, high five. Hey, Chris, how's it going? He knows 20 people down the bus from the trip. And I was like, what the? So his personality, just getting to meet all the amazing humans, just shines through. And
The husband excursion, right?
What'd you say?
From the husband excursion?
Yeah, from the husband excursion. Yeah, he knew them for like, I knew no one. I was just meeting people, the outgoing one that I am. And then he met like 50 husbands and was high-fiving them all down. He knew what sports team they loved. And they were like, go Pittsburgh, go this, go Bruins, whatever. High-fiving all down the thing. So anyway, okay. So, and we leave. Yeah.
And that's the,
Yeah.
That's the baby stage. That's the baby stage of Mary Kay.
This is our life. Listen, the most amazing thing about Chris, he steps in, steps up, and just does what it is, he needs to do. It's not something I need to ask. He just is that person that just says, okay, Nadia's got to go do her thing now. And he just kind of just walked away with the screaming kid. And now he's bouncing her in the living room. And I will say that we talked about today, just what he does to support me in a business and support what it is that we do. And it's just those windows of time that we've created that are my business time. And I will say that when I do say that I treat this like a business, I do. Normally, most people would be going to work from 8 till 5 or 8 till 4, dropping their kids off at daycare, picking them up. We do have the luxury that our kids only go to daycare 3 days a week. We have that piece. But what's really nice is he allows and supports the fact that I do treat this at-home business like a business for the windows of time that I do work. And it's certainly been a blessing having him home over the last little bit. And just the love that he has for me kind of transcends through the love I have for the business, and it kind of just goes all together. So we work well together, even though I don't think knows all of what I do during the day. But the thing is he doesn't really need to know to be able to support. Like, he really doesn't know. He just knows I put lipstick in bags and moisturizer in bags, and I coach and talk to people. And I think one of his biggest things he loves to listen to, you'd agree, is he loves listening to me coach my consultants. He thinks that's the most enjoyable part of my business. And he'll get off the phone. I'll get off the phone and be like, was that Melissa? That was really good. Yeah, no, she can do this. Like, she kind of just like cheers it on. He's like, was that Lynn? Oh my, yes, she can do that. Tell her next time, tell her to do that. So anyway, it was just, it's been great. And we go again. Okay, so that's our life.
Everett's
Yeah, she wants to
again.
She doesn't like the camera either.
No, not so much, hey?
No,
She's her daughter's,
Yeah.
or her father's daughter. I love that.
absolutely.
Awesome. Okay, so who's next? Who wants to go? Who did we say, Raven? Were we gonna do Casey next? Yeah. Okay. All right.
Hiya.
Without further ado, I would like to introduce you to Raven and Casey.
Hi.
Hi, everybody. Hello, hello. Okay, I'm assuming I have to follow suit with introducing and a little bit about us. So Casey and I have actually been together for 17 years, and we've been married for 11 years. We actually met when Casey played junior hockey here in Prince George for the Prince George Spruce Kings. And we met, we hit it off, and we hung out every day ever since. 17 years later, we pretty much have not been apart in 17 years, which is pretty cool. We have 3 beautiful children. I'm sure at some point in this recording, you will hear one of them. Our twins are 9, so Axton and Adriana and Asher, and oh, there's one of them, and we have a friend over right now. See, like our house is a zoo.
I know I'm texting my daughter right now, so yes.
Our house is normally like crazy chaos. We always have kids kicking around and something, but you know, I've always been really blessed with my business and having Casey support it. You know, I always like to say at the beginning, he didn't really fully grasp the business and have a good understanding of what we were doing. And it wasn't always like, you know, fluffy and beautiful and all that fun stuff. But I mean, I have to say that very quickly that changed. And once he got a grasp of the business and how we make our money and what we do and all that kind of stuff, then it was very easy for him to become super supportive. That's an Asher. Hold on, what? TV time. We're going next because Asher has hockey tonight. And so we're like, get ready for hockey. Okay,
Well,
so
stop talking. Let me talk then.
this is mom roll. This is how we go. And so not like Nadia, I planned nothing to say for Casey. He gets to do it all.
I know you guys wanted like an advice for consultants and spouses, so I just something I'd say to new consultants: do what your director tells you. They've been in every scenario. I know Raven always gets, and you guys, everyone gets it. Oh, well, you make it look so easy, or well, yeah, well, you have 1,000 customers, but every director started with no customers, started brand new, didn't know any what the product was. Everyone had super highs, super lows. I know there's been times everybody wanted to quit, I'm sure too. So just do what your director tells you, because the success is there. They've learned from multi-millionaires in the States, and it's a proven recipe that it works. And don't get down on yourself, because although they make it look easy, and yes, Raven has a pile of customers, she worked her tail off to get all those customers. So, and everyone, I could just say Raven because that's how things are for me, but just deal with the no's. You're going to get lots of no's, but deal with it and build up that customer base. And nothing comes easy. Nothing's free. Get your butt out there and make calls. It's easy for me to say I could not get on the phone call with a stranger and make that call. But if you want to be successful, that's what you have to do. And that's what everyone who is successful has done. Get out there and get your name out there and take the 9 no's to get the 1 yes. And you need to just go work. Nothing's free. You got to work for every single little thing. Raven has worked her butt off every day for the 12 years that she's been in Mary Kay to get where she's at. She might make it look easy, but it's not. It hasn't been. There's always been some ups and downs, but just keep going. When times are tough, you have to keep going, and the times will always come back around and be good. And then eventually things happen, the crazy things in life. We had a very crazy thing in our life probably 5 years ago now. Raven's dad just up and passed away on us. Not to turn this into a dark thing, but Raven was able to completely take time off for almost a year, maybe, you think? Almost. Her team kept us afloat and kept her business afloat, because that's the values that Mary Kay has, and because it's built up. And you need to build up your team, you need to build up your customers for when crazy things in life do happen, and not try to knock you down. You can stay up and keep going and just stay going. We've all had crazy things in our life, and you're going to get knocked down, but you got to keep going. That's my advice to a consultant. For my advice for a spouse, oh geez, is probably just don't be a dark cloud. You need to realize that every person is going to get 9 no's before they get a yes, and stay positive and just do what they need. Like, I'm big on my thing. I used to be label product nonstop and stuff, but now luckily we have 3 kids that like to do that. But I do dishes, I do laundry, I run to the rink 4 times a day if I have to, so Raymond can keep working. I keep the crazies outside so it's quiet for her Zoom calls. It's all the little things. It's having a glass of wine ready for her if she comes home from a crappy party. It's whatever she possibly needs, do it, and just don't be the dark cloud. Stay positive, keep things positive, because she's gonna have enough negatives. I already mentioned how hard it would possibly be to call strangers, and I couldn't do it myself. So just be the support system that you need and be a team. I always say that we're a team and everything's together. It's so much easier as a team.
Amen. And fun Mary Kay experience. Your
Chris
most
is like,
fun-
I love him.
I know you guys.
Oh, you guys are gonna have the biggest bromance ever.
I know you really. I've been saying this for a long time. I'm
Yeah,
like,
Scott can join.
Yeah, Scott can join.
Yeah, you can't talk hockey
And-
though.
totally. I mean, the 4 of these guys and Chad together, all of you guys. Oh man, Scotland missed out. They missed
Yeah,
out.
they really did.
But okay, so favorite.
Mary Kay experience. I mean, the easy answer would be a top director trip, because there's no question, right? So I'll try to think of something else. It's probably just the leaderships and the seminars. I always tell our Ravens, the spouses on our team, that you need to get out to seminar. I know it's impossible right now because everything's canceled, but not only to learn the business, but because of the relationships we made, we could literally drive across Canada and not get a hotel room. And it's not like we're slumming on some couches, literally stay with best friends all along across the entire country, and probably through half the states as well. We really could.
Truly.
So that's my favorite experience, is all the relationships we've made, and it's because everybody's good values from this company. And
Mhm.
yeah.
Do you want to know mine?
And what? Bye.
Yeah.
So corporate gave us all these in London because they messed up our reservation for our Canadian dine around. And then we went out for drinks afterwards. And Casey was like, ready, Casey? Come on, you can do it. Do you remember?
English accent.
Mhm.
My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard.
I think it was Royal Yard.
Royal yard.
My milkshake brings all the boys to the Royal Yard.
We may
And
have
that's
we may
like-
have visited a few pubs in England first before that one.
There was there might have been some pubbage happening.
So funny. And you know what? Like, just another fun, like, touching on that a little bit about the relationships. It's so true. The relationships you build all across Canada. Casey, when we first started dating, when I first started Mary Kay, he was working out in the oil fields, building refineries and stuff. And Dawson Creek, he was in Dawson Creek, and he was supposed to have a hotel, and he was supposed to have a room lined up, and it didn't work out. And it was like midnight. He had nowhere to sleep, nowhere to go. So I literally Googled Mary Kay director, Dawson Creek,
Yeah.
and I called this phone number at midnight, and I said, "You don't know me. My name is Raven, and I'm a beauty consultant, and my husband is stranded in Dawson Creek." And she said, "Send him over." And so she made a bed for him. She fed him. She had him all ready to go. And so he legitimately slept over at a stranger's home at midnight, just because, right? So that is the relationships you build, honestly and truly. It's just so cool. We're so fortunate to have that in Mary Kay, for sure.
We are, yeah.
Definitely. But there's been a lot. I mean, I bet you being staying at home with the kids on parental leave
Mhm.
is probably up there
Yeah.
on there for, I don't know what it is for me, but having Casey went on parental leave with both our pregnancies, and he stayed at home and took care of the kids while I just continued to work. So yeah. Thanks, Casey.
Pretty lucky. We're pretty lucky.
Thank you, Casey. That was awesome.
So Casey has to run, or do you want me to go?
No, I can.
Okay. Casey.
I'll watch this after.
Okay. Casey has to run Asher to hockey now.
Thanks for listening, guys. Good to see you all. Miss you all.
All All right, Scotty, are you up? Is Scotty up next? We were gonna let Chad close her out. I love it. Okay, so this is Scotty Too Hottie, as everyone knows him. Scott is not really his name; it is Scotty, and most people do call him that, right? We met in 1996 and in college, and have been together ever since. And really, just we have 2 kids together. They are 14 and 16. One of them's possessed, and the other one is not yet. So that's good. And they're fantastic, amazing children. Scott is a musician and works at Costco and has been a huge supporter of my business most of the time. In the very beginning, not so much, right? So
Right.
yeah, in the very beginning when I first signed my agreement. So I know he has notes that he wrote down because he is a preparer by nature. So do you want me to ask you questions or do you just want to go?
No, ask me questions.
Okay, so do you want to actually, why don't you tell them what your first impression was when I first signed my agreement? And you have to get closer, get up here. Sorry, we have some major height differentials and his feet don't quite fit underneath the desk. So he's getting as close as he can to the thing. I'm at the top of the hydraulics on my chair and he's in the lowest stool possible because Scott is 6'6" and I'm 5'3". So we sort of look like Gandalf and Frodo on a regular basis. Yeah. Okay. So when I first signed my Mary Kay agreement, what did you think?
I was not happy. I didn't speak to you for weeks.
How come?
I don't recall.
You don't know?
But it's because you were using a credit card that was frozen, and it was like our last like, and for emergencies, that kind of thing. So it was really
Okay, stop looking at me. You're supposed to look there.
sorry.
He does that all the time. He's like, so anyway, and I'm like, no, there, look there. Tell
So-
them.
So yeah, I didn't speak to you for weeks, and but it's gotten a lot better, way better. With her business, I've discovered about sisterhood. I've discovered about support, a lot of support. I work in the retail world. You basically are a pawn on a chessboard. You're told to go this place, this place, this place. You get paid a certain amount hours per week. Here, it's much more flexible. You're given a lot more support. I keep using that word, but it's really, that's what really stood out for me, is to see that when you're in a crisis that, hey, can you help me out? No problem. So then you call upon your consultants, your directors, and there's a lot of family there. And so, yeah,
What was the first moment that you did, like, changed your mind? When did you decide that it was okay?
it was when Donna, what's her last name?
Melnition.
Donna became a national, and she had a celebration at her house, and I could see like all these women standing up beside her, and there was celebration, there was clapping, it was just overwhelming of how much support there was. That was the point for me, is like, yeah, I understand Mary Kay. I understand what it does for these ladies, or men for that matter, but it's like a, I don't know, it's something you can get on board with. Not being a sales guy myself, so yeah, is that?
Yeah, you don't have to
Okay.
worry. You're doing fine. Keep talking to them. I'm trying to like look this way so that you talk to me, but still look at the camera. Okay. Tell us one piece of advice that you have for Mary Kay Beauty consultants,
The consultants.
or the husbands. You can pick.
No, I'll do consultants first.
I'm going to stand right here so you keep talking to
Okay.
the camera.
For consultants, mostly is don't give up your drive. That was a main one. And again, I said sisterhood, a lot of support from a group. I have never seen that. I mean, in the retail world, I haven't seen that in a lot of jobs where it's like you do shift work, 9 to 5, you pat on the back, that kind of thing. So I really like that part of it. I do remember when Carol made a inspiration board. She's done a lot of those. It's like, what do you want? Like, what do you want to do with your business or yourself, or what do you want to improve? And the big one was the inspiration board. It's like a goal for you to, like, you want to do trips, you want more money, you want, you want a car, you want, something that gives you a lot of joy. So that's the main advice I have for consultants, and keep working at it. It's not too difficult. You have to work at it, and that's the big thing.
What about for spouses? What would you tell husbands?
Spouses.
There's a
For-
lot of them listening.
For spouses, it's understanding what Mary Kay can do for you, whether it's financially. Their husband mentioned that you can get a free car if you'd like, if that's what you want to work for. Sorry, I haven't seen any work or any kind of job where it's like, yeah, we'll give you something for free. We'll give you, if you work this much, you might get a raise. Okay, great, a little bit more money. But how about if we give you a car? How about we go on a trip? Because if you work for it, then you just get it. That's it. And there's no restrictions. Like where I work, you can't book off holiday time between November 13th and about December, a little after Christmas. So with Mary Kay, you're like, well, let's go to China. Let's go, not right now, but there's options there for you that may not have been there before, and so as a spouse is to, where's I going with this? There's some financial freedom. It's not limited, is what I also wanted to say. With Mary Kay, your income is unlimited. You earn what you work for. It's not like, okay, what's that?
So you're talking to the spouses though?
Yes.
Yes. So
It doesn't have to be like, this is as high as you can go. It's infinite. It's so awesome that way. I can only go so far in my job because I go to top rate and that's it. I get a quarter increase per year. So it's kind of like a numbers game in a way, but
so what should spouses do so they can help maximize their spouse's potential or their wife's potential?
I like your questions.
Good,
do.
thank you.
It can really, if you take care of the little things, if you show support in any way you can, really. I know we can be busy. We can have long shifts. If you're an oil field worker, probably like 12 hours, 14-hour days.
You keep shaking this camera though. By the way, I hope you're not getting nauseous. I have a fold down desk and Scott likes to talk and smack the table at the same
I
time.
talk to my
So
hands.
if you are feeling a little motion sick, I keep signaling to him to stop doing that, but he's not listening. So every time he looks distracted, I'm not feeding him answers. I'm just going, stop shaking the damn table. It's going like this, like the laptop's literally bouncing.
Which is why there's more wine.
Yeah, okay, so don't touch the table. Jeez.
Okay, don't touch the table.
All right. What else? So Scott, when we first started our business, we had a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old. And there were nights when I was doing parties that he was taking them delivering pizzas in the evening in a minivan before we had iPads, before we had anything, driving around town at 10 o'clock at night, delivering pizzas while I was doing my business. So he's been always somebody who's always taking care of. I don't do dishes, clearly. I'm too pretty to do dishes is my statement.
That's true.
So I don't do dishes, and he always takes care of all of that stuff for me. And I swear to God, if it wasn't for Scotty, nobody would eat in this house, because if I get on a roll and I'm working, there's no food, right? It's just like I'm working, and I truly believe it's science that if you don't feed your children, they will eat cereal for dinner. And there's riboflavin in there, so it's fine. So, but Scott will make sure that food just magically appears at my desk if I am busy or working. He's the kind of person he's never really been super involved in my business. I wouldn't say, like, there's lots of Mary Kay directors that have like their spouses or, part of their business. Yeah. But Scott's sort of been just on the sidelines, just being a supporter in the background. I'm pretty self-sufficient that way. So he is the kind of person that is that silent cheerleader like Chris is. I don't really think you have a hot clue what I really do, but it's okay. Right? So, yeah. And he also likes to sit at the top of across the room and listen to me do coaching. And he does this the whole time. And it drives me crazy because it's super distracting while I'm on my headphones and he's listening and he's like, that was really good. I think it's just because I never talk to him. So that's right. What's your favorite Mary Kay story from a trip, or your favorite Mary Kay moment?
I have a few. I'll start with London. I got a chance to play at Abbey Road on John Lennon's piano, so it's pretty amazing.
He cried.
I did cry. Yeah, exactly.
He got to record a song in Abbey Road Studios, and he got to solo with Shauna Abbott's, who is my really close friend in Mary Kay now. And we have a CD that we recorded in the Beatles studio.
And there was, I think it was in Argentina, a bunch of us played volleyball. I mean, who does that? Like in the middle of like just a husband's retreat, and to see the culture. And then Hawaii, of course, was just, I would love to go back for hours and days, just
Hours and days.
yeah. And then weeks.
And weeks.
It's just, it's a, it's not overwhelming. It's like an unbelievable, how can this be? Like, how can this, you see this trip and you're like, this can't be for me. Like, there's no way. And Italy, we also went to, we had I think it was a ball or something that night. And they had-
Oh yeah, at the
and they
that
had the
mansion
trumpeters saluting us as we came in, and then we had like fireworks at the end, like as a surprise.
that
Like,
they set off over St. Paul's Basilica.
yeah, are you kidding me? Like,
It was pretty cool. Except that you get home and then you're like, where the hell are my trumpets? And then the
nothing.
ceilings in our hotel room were taller than our house. And I got home and I was like, this place is a dump. Sucks. But yeah, trips like that, like those are our favorite moments, really. I think we
Really
work for the trips a lot this year. And I mean, this year's different, but we have a deck that we spent a lot of time on too, that we built with our Mary Kay money that we got from our trips. But I think being on the trips, I think really solidified for you what being in Mary
did.
Kay was all about.
And relationships with new people as well. Because
Cool.
I need that. I really do.
Any other
Aw.
pieces of advice or anything else that you wanted to share?
No.
No, you're good.
No, that's good.
You're like, make me stop making me talk, Carol. Scotty really does like to talk. He is not an introvert. He just comes across that way. He'll talk for 12 years if you let him. But I won't, because that would just take too long. I know. And he's going to keep shaking the table. So I hope that helped a little bit. Really just thinking about from the perspective of when we had teenagers now, but we had little kids then, and just always that he has been that parent that didn't have to be told what to do. So remember for spouses that your wife is busy, and having to delegate is another thing for her to have to do. So if you can just be intuitive enough to just do it, that's a huge help. Okay. All right. Angie and Chad, take it away.
How are we all? This has been so fun. I love seeing all these guys on here. It's awesome. Our story's quite a bit different. Mary Kay has brought a lot of great things to my life. It's brought 8 cars, 5 Cadillacs, lots of diamonds, all that sort of thing. But it also brought me this guy because Chad is actually the brother of two of his sisters were in the business, and that's actually how I met him, was through his sisters. So it's been awesome. Now, I started Mary Kay when I had 2 out of the 4 children I have, and I was previously married, and then went through divorce, and then Chad came into my life, and we're not officially married yet. We've been together almost 5 years, 4 years, 4.5 years, somewhere in there. And he has 2 and I have 4. So together we have 16. No, we don't. Last week, my oldest turned 20. So we have a 20-year-old and 5 teenagers between us, a blended family. And his boys go to school in Watrous, an hour away from here, mine in Saskatoon. And so it's just, he came in at a very different time compared to the other stories here. I fell in love with Chad. One of the reasons, he's got pretty blue eyes. I like that. But he also has really great business sense. And when I met him, he asked me questions differently than anybody ever in my whole life had ever asked, because he wanted to find out what his sisters were a part of. And the questions he asked me was like, oh, I like this business sense, And so when we got together, it was like instant respect for the business is how I felt he treated the business. But I felt like I had a business coach with me because he runs 5 businesses of his own. Yeah, I don't think that the trip would have happened this year. It was the first one that I've ever earned without this guy by my side. He has been just such a cheerleader for me. He's been so great with my team. I'm pretty sure they like his hugs more than mine. And he just always seems to know it's really good that I never ever have to apologize for working with him. I never ever have to explain. He just knows what business is about and goes for it. So I guess what I would like to start with is, what was your first impression of Mary Kay?
First of all, hello everybody. Good job so far, guys. It's all awesome stuff, and ladies as well. First, that's a loaded question. I guess for me, running my own businesses, it was a big eye opener to understand how Mary Kay works and what it's all about, and the training that comes with it and the leadership that comes with it is I mean, that's just not out there. For me, running my businesses, for me to find that kind of leadership and that kind of training, I have to pay for it, and big dollars, 10 grand, $15,000, $20,000 to get that kind of training. You guys have that built into your business, fellow directors, the four of you, Raven, Nadia, and Carol, and Angie, working together in the last little while to, bounce ideas off each other and pump each other's tires up is amazing. If I'm thinking about my own businesses, it's tough to find that out there. Some of my businesses are real estate, and there are groups out there that talk business, but it's not the same. It's more of a competitive thing. Whereas with you guys, it's how do you support each other and how do you help each other? You can all get to the top, right? Whereas with other businesses, you sort of, the mentality is step on each other to get to the top. And that's, it's a tough game. So for me, that's the first thing that I really noticed was how amazing the leadership and the training is, and how accessible it is to everybody, whether you're a director or consultant or even customers. So building each other up and being supportive for one another is pretty awesome to see in the business.
Awesome. What about advice for spouses? If you, you were actually surprised. I remember some of our first events, you're like, where are all the guys? But like, where are they? And I mean, everybody's at a different phase. So I remember when I first came into the business with little kids, it was like divide and conquer, right? And then now, because our kids are all self-sufficient and all that sort of thing, and they prefer us not around, we can do a lot of things together. And that's one thing about a blended family, is we have the other parents who can take care while we do the trips and things together. So that's awesome. But advice for consultants or their spouses, what would you say comes to mind?
I'm going to circle back to what you said about some of the events where spouses are not there. I was shocked. I was blown away. Some of the first leaderships I went to, and some of the first seminars I went to, the lack of spousal support. That's the way I look at it anyway. The guys that aren't there in the audience, and even the ones that are there, are sort of checked out. They're playing on their phones. They're gone for a round of golf instead of sitting beside their lady and understanding what's going on, and being supportive and sharing in all the wins, and watching other people across the stage and sharing their stories and seeing it all happen. At least you all, like, if you go together, I know for Angie and I, hearing the same words and both being in the audience and seeing it and hearing it, we can go home and talk about it. We can understand it the same way. Whereas if she comes home and tells me about it, I'm not really picking it up. I'm not really understanding. So for me, it's all in. If I can be there, I'll be there. And like Angie said, circumstances, if you have kids and different things that don't allow a spouse to be there, that's understandable. But being in a room of 6,000 women and there's only a couple hundred guys, and 150 of them are checked out, they're there because they feel obligated to be there rather than being there to be fully supportive. So in my mind, that's number one. Absolutely support your spouse, whatever she's doing.
Awesome. What do you see as one of the biggest benefits of this business?
There's many, but I would say the number one is confidence. And I just see a whole bunch of women just really exploding in their businesses and personal lives and carrying themselves in a different way, coming with confidence. And that comes with running a business successfully, and the relationships that you get with other people like Raven and Casey, we're talking about. That all builds you up, that pumps up your tires, that makes you a better person. And there's, in my mind, nothing more attractive than a woman who has that confidence and carries herself well. And to me, that's number one in this business, because you guys are so good at pumping each other's tires up and supporting one another. And it's awesome to see, and it's an awesome space to be in. I'm going to revert back to my own businesses. I don't find that in my businesses. I am my only cheerleader in some of what I do. You guys have built-in cheerleaders, and a lot of them are on the screen right now. So that's awesome. I don't have that. So same with the men. You guys can support each other too, and I'm always around. Angie can get you my phone number or check me out on Facebook or whatever, because that's important to have each other to lean on to really go for it.
Awesome. Now, we haven't had the chance to do the trip. We got cash this year instead, but is there any certain memories, because you have been to all of the seminars since we've been together, and a couple of the you've been to all the leaderships and some of the seminars. Is there any fun memories or memorable moments in those that kind of really stand out for you as a pretty awesome experience?
Of course, the cruise that we went on was awesome. The Bahamas cruise, that was amazing. Who would pass up a free cruise? It was unbelievable. To me, having a business where they give out prizes like that is unbelievable. It's awesome. So that's right at the top for me, for sure. And again, back to relationships, meeting new people from all over the place, United States and Canada, all great people that are all striving to run their businesses the best they can and have great relationships with their spouses and friends and other people in the business. It's all great to see. It's awesome.
Awesome. Yeah, I just feel really lucky to have someone like this with me that truly supports, even if he doesn't understand. He makes an effort to understand, and even if he doesn't, he still trusts me and trusts the business enough to continue to encourage me to move on. So yeah, that's our story. I was just wondering if there are any people on here that have any questions for any of those who have spoken tonight.
No questions, you guys?
I'll say one more thing if I got a sec.
Yeah.
One thing I always say to Ravens girls anytime, sometimes the guys, I'll go to her meetings and stuff and we say something, but how many guys have read Mary Kay's book? Or for guys, a lot of people don't like to read, but there is an A&E documentary on Mary Kay's story that I like to send it out there as a goal for guys to watch that or read about it, because to me and Raven and most people who have been in the business a while, Mary Kay is not the product. She was a lady and a person, and her values and stuff are such a huge part of what we do. So throw it out there as a goal to everyone, for husbands to maybe watch that DVD or read her book, and you could find out some pretty amazing stuff, that Mary Kay is not just a name on our boxes. She was a very amazing person. But if you're having a hard time getting your husband involved, you can throw that DVD on one night and show him. Just a thought.
Yeah, I would say just one more comment. So Chris and I dating when we were younger, Chris actually spent a lot of time listening to my mom speak when she was a national. So he was well aware of, you know, the business and how it worked. And certainly now that he's come into it at this point, really the only event that he's been to is a top director trip because everything else has been canceled. So his understanding of the business has certainly been passed down from my dad. And they've had a lot of conversations when they're right now renovating a bathroom, and I can only imagine the conversations that happen between the two of them, but a lot of them will revert back to Chris asking questions, and he constantly asks. So I encourage you spouses, if you have a question about how the business works or where your wife makes her money, the more that you understand, the more she does, because she automatically will run based on your support. And if one thing I do know for sure is that we don't generally work for ourselves. I'm going to say that one more time. We don't generally work for ourselves. Spouse or not, I've done this single, I've done it married, I've done it divorced, I'm now in a relationship with 2 kids. I've done it in all those facets. We still don't work for ourselves. 99% of that time, whatever we're working for is generally coming back to the household, back to the family, back to whatever we can do to bring it back to not us. So just so you know, at the end of the day, the more that you are involved, I'm going to correlate that with the quote, more successful your partner will be, because she has your support and your understanding of how we make money.
Yes. You have more thoughts? No more thoughts.
No, I
None whatsoever.
no.
No, done. It's out. He's gone. He had a glass of wine. That's it. I know that Al, can I call on you? You've been Mary Kay husband for a very long time. Esther, how long have you been in the business? Oh, she's trying to find the mute. There we go.
Yeah. 31 years in January.
So any piece of advice, Al, for the husbands and the people in the group?
Well, Casey pretty well covered it, because I just echo what he said. You're talking to a consultant, listen to your director. She started out as a green consultant, just like you. She's gone through all the peaks and valleys, just like you will. Just bear with it and be consistent. One of the first seminars I went to 30 years ago, Bernice Bowman gave a talk on consistency and on perseverance. And she said, yeah, as a consultant, you're going to get lots of no's, but someplace in there's a yes. So just remember, some will, some won't. So what? Pick up the phone and make another call. And I made a sign and stuck that over her desk because someday she get kind of disappointed, and I just point at the sign. Remember, do that.
It's true. It's true. I always saw that sign above my desk, so I would persevere and do one more call.
Yeah. And for the husbands, I call myself Esther's EA, DEP, CCBW. That's executive assistant, data entry person, and chief cook and bottle washer. Because that's what I do. The only thing I don't do facials, but I do deliveries. I take calls, I make up orders. And some people say, how come you know all the product? I said, well, I live it, and I do. And I try and do the paperwork so Esther can do the people work. I do all the paperwork, and I do all the cooking. I don't bake. She bakes, I eat. But anything else other than that, if you saw me, you'd know I do eat. But I do all the cooking so she can concentrate on her business. And I do agree, it is a business, and that's the way that if you want to be successful, that's the way you have to look at it. But it's a business that you control, and you set your own time and have fun. Esther, as Esther said, she's been at it for 31 years. We've been married 52, by the way. And I said, when are you going to retire? She said, why would I retire? I'm having fun. And that's the attitude you have to maintain.
And making money and getting
yeah.
cars and.
I'm just a poor old retiree.
I love it. See, I knew I could call on you and I didn't have to prep you in advance. I love you guys. I wanted to say too, one of the most amazing things about Scott and a lot of the husbands in this group is he's never emasculated by the fact that I make more money. First of all, always have, because I married a musician. So, you know, I didn't go into that with any high hopes. Let's just say I was not a gold digger. I knew I was going to be the primary breadwinner, but I think it's really important that he's never really made me feel bad for being that person or being somebody who is, I always am a workaholic. No matter what it is that I do, I'm all in doing anything. It doesn't matter if I'm building dollhouses or I'm painting the stairs or I'm working. I am completely 100% blinders on, committed to it. And I think he's been really patient with that. So spouses in the group, just that is important too. A lot of entrepreneurial women are the kind of women that like to tackle a project and get her done. And it's awesome when you can just let us run and just support in the background and not feel like you have to be the center. The one thing you've never, ever said to me, you need to stop working so you can pay attention to me.
No.
I mean, I've always done my best to create that priority, but it's never been something where he's been jealous or upset that I have prioritized, sorry, the light is falling down, prioritized our work or anything else. So I love that. But I do have to say the biggest threat in June is what? I'm not taking you on the trip. That's it. That's it. Get the dishes done. I'm not taking you. And one year I even emailed Carmen, who organizes the trip, and I was like, Scott's not coming. And she's like, that's cool. Email me back in a few days. And she's like, I honestly get those emails a lot. Because we'll be like super stressed out and then it's not happening. And then who's your biggest punching bag? It's your husband and he's right there. So it's pretty easy to reach out to do that. And then deliveries. He likes to do deliveries.
I really do.
I think he just likes all the female attention.
That too.
They come running out.
Thank you, Scott. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
And a big smile like that. Big smile on their face.
They all come running out to the pink Cadillac. So I think he really enjoys all of those things. So ladies in the group, thank you so much for being on tonight. Those of you who brought your spouses, awesome. Those of you who will show this later, try not to let it be like you have to watch this because you suck. Don't do that. That's not nice. And remember what Mary Kay Ash always used to say, men understand cars and they understand money. And I can't help you with the third thing. So make sure you're getting lots of third things in your life too. Okay? He's like, oh my God, Carol, shut up. Anyway, love you guys. Hope that was great.
We love
Anybody
you.
else have anything else? You're good?
Love you.
Awesome, ladies and gentlemen.
This was amazing.
And then, awesome.